Hi guys, Robbo46 here, and today I'm going to do the race results and analysis for yesterday's MotoGP race at Valencia, the final MotoGP race of the season. Sad times, but we were treated to yet another hectic MotoGP race. We've had quite a few of them this year, but yeah, Valentino Rossi was on pole position for the first time in 4 years. 81 Grand Prix starts it's been since he had his last pole position. I think it's his 50th pole in the Premier class, and it was good for him. Just another little kind of fairy tale to the season he's had. Andrea Iannone was second on the grid. Marc Marquez did have a crash when he was trying to put in his fastest time during qualifying and didn't get a chance to set another time. But he started in 5th. So off the start it was actually Iannone who got the whole shot and set quite a decent pace from the start. Did actually pull away from Rossi, who was in 2nd. And Lorenzo, who was 3rd. Marc Marquez didn't get the best of starts as usual. Neither did Dani Pedrosa, both going back slightly, both behind the factory Ducatis of Cal Crutchlow and Andrea Dovizioso. But both factory Hondas started to move their way forward. Bradley Smith, he didn't get such a good start and did end up having a crash a little bit into the race because all of a sudden we started to have rain. I mean, apparently the forecast was for rain that day, but it didn't look like it was going to rain, but then it did. But as it started raining, Iannone started slowing down a bit. Rossi started, well, kept the same pace he had. Marquez started to make his way through the pack, as did Pedrosa. And Lorenzo, it kind of sums up Lorenzo's season, to be honest. He's kind of lost that edge in his head at the moment. He's still really quick, but he's not prepared to push when conditions are a bit iffy. He started slowing down. The Ducati boys, though, they sped up. They seem to thrive in the dodgy conditions. But poor old Bradley Smith had a crash. He did remount and get back on it. But it's bad for Bradley, because if he had finished where he was in the race, he was up to about 6th place. If he had finished there, he would have taken 6th in the championship. But that all seemed to go away as soon as it started raining. But yeah, Rossi was catching Iannone and Marquez was catching Rossi. Rossi overtook Iannone, and then Marquez got past Lorenzo and started to make his way up to Iannone. Had a bit of a fight with Iannone. Iannone didn't make it easy for him, which I was impressed with Iannone with that. He does like a fight, we all know that. And it's good to see him to be able to fight with Marquez, but eventually Marquez got the better of Iannone and managed to pull away. Actually, no, I got that round the wrong way. I think he passed Rossi before he passed Iannone. So he got ahead of Rossi and then got ahead of Iannone, and then Rossi eventually got past Iannone. And then Iannone started going backwards. Lorenzo kind of started to catch up to Rossi, but as soon as the rain started to come down, he just started to drop back further and further. Pedrosa was making his way forward slowly, and Iannone and Lorenzo decided that it was wet enough for them to change bikes. They're the only 2 guys to go into the pit to change onto wet tyres. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. They took a gamble and it didn't work. At one point, Lorenzo was going think is about 9.5 seconds slower than Marquez, who's in the lead by this point. And I mean, both PBM machines went past Lorenzo, and if both of them go past you, then you know you're in trouble. So Lorenzo opted to retire from the Grand Prix after choosing to go on the wet tyres. Even if he changed back onto his dry bike, then he would have just lost so much time going in and out of the pits a couple of times. Iannone opted to stay out and finish the Grand Prix. But then it stopped raining, and Marquez started to pull away from Rossi, and then the factory Ducati started moving back towards Lorenzo, not Lorenzo, sorry, started to move back down the order towards the Espargaro brothers, and then it started raining again, and the two Ducatis started to pull away from the Espargaro brothers, and Cow and Dovi had a good fight throughout the whole race, just like when they were at Tech 3 Yamaha. Just fighting all the way through the race, and as it started raining, Rossi started to close down on Marquez again, and then it did stop raining again, and Marquez started to put away from Rossi, and that was pretty much it at the front. So Marc Marquez ended up winning the race. Unfortunately, Randy Depunier hasn't been Suzuki's weekend. The first race back in a few years, 3 years, and it seems like they got a bit of a reliability issue at the moment. He had engine issues during both free practice and qualifying, and again had an issue on Sunday during the race, and unfortunately had to retire. Hopefully they do sort their reliability out for next year, because I just want to see how close the factory Suzuki is to the other factory bikes. Yoni Hernandez had a technical problem as well and was forced to retire. So three non-finishers, which were Depunier, Hernandez and Lorenzo, who chose to retire after choosing the wrong tyres. Yeah, battles going all the way through the order. Bradley Smith was making his way through the order, managed to get back up to 14th, which ain't too bad considering he did have a crash. Scott Redding, when it was dry, was a bit far down, about 14th, 15th place, but when the rain came down he started to move his way forward, ended up in 10th. 6 places ahead of his teammate Alvaro Bautista. Michele Pirro, he was wildcard in this weekend as well in the factory Ducati. He got a good finish. The Espargaro brothers were battling the whole race. But yeah, it was a hectic race. It was a good day's racing, to be honest. Moto3 was definitely hectic. Cracking racing though. Moto2 was good racing. The end of it, if you didn't see it, was a bit bizarre, but turns out Tito Rabat had a bit of a, well, his bike basically bogged down as he came out the last corner and lost the lead, like, over the line. Then we got a hectic MotoGP race and good day's racing altogether. But the end results of yesterday's race were Marc Marquez first, Valentino Rossi second, Dani Pedrosa third. I won't do the times because in a race like that the timings are pretty irrelevant. Dovizioso got the better of Crutchlow and got 4th. Crutchlow was 5th. Good to see him go out on a high. Good to see him to be able to ride the Ducati as well. Paul Espargaro got the better of his brother in 6th. Alicia Espargaro was 7th. Last ride on his NGM Racing. Also last ride for Crutchlow on the factory Ducati. Stefan Bradl, last race on his LCR factory Honda, came home in 8th. Michele Pirro 9th, not bad for a wild card. Scott Redding, good 10th place for him, last ride on his open class Honda before he goes on to the factory Mark VDS Estrella Galicia Honda. Hector Barbera on the Ducati came home in 11th. Danilo Petrucci, quite impressed with him on his last race for the Iota Racing bike, came home in 11th. Alex DeAngelis is going to be on the Iota next year. Yeah, not really much I want to say about that. Nicky Hayden, 13th for him. Bradley Smith, after having a crash, 14th, not so bad, did get a couple of points, but it did mean that he did end up in 8th overall in the championship. Hiroshi Ayama, last race in MotoGP, came home and got the last point in 15th. He will be HRC's test rider as of next year, so not completely out of bikes. He probably might have a wild card at Japan next year, that's what I'm guessing anyway. Alvaro Bautista, last race on the factory Honda, 16th, no points for him. See what he can do on the Aprilia. Carol Abraham was 17th, Alex DeAngelis 18th. Michael Laverty and Brock Parks, the last races for them in the MotoGP class, and of course last races for the PBM team, 19th and 20th respectively. Sad to see Paul Bird Motorsport go out of MotoGP, but they haven't had the best of times, to be honest. Didn't really have the best of efforts either. I know that Paul Bird wanted to have a British bike, British riders, a whole British team, but that dream sadly did not come to fruition, and seems that it's over. But he will have 2 teams in British Superbikes now. Michael Laverty and Brock Parks will be riding for Paul Bird in British Superbikes. Not sure what bike they're going to be on. Rumours are that it's going to be BMWs, as well as having Kawasaki's as well, but not entirely sure yet. Mike DeMeglio was 21st on the Kawasaki. He will be on a Ducati just like his teammate Hector Barbera next season. He has re-signed for Avintia Racing. And Andrea Iannone, after following Jorge Lorenzo into the pits, got the last place of 22nd. So that was it, guys. It was a hectic race. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed, well, all 3 races, because they were probably one of the best 3 races we've had in a long time anyway. Moto 3, like I said, was a really good race. Really enjoyed that. But yeah, that's it for this series, I guess, for this year. I will be doing it again next year when MotoGP starts again, doing the race results and analysis of the races. I will be doing the news of 2015, any news that comes about between now and then, which I'm sure it will. I will do the testing news and results as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. All I can say is thank you so much for everyone who's watched the videos that I've done this year for MotoGP. I didn't start off doing every single race. I can't even remember the first race I'd done, but I know to begin with I was doing the time trial challenge things, but turns out this is seems better for me and for you guys as well. And yeah, I've enjoyed doing this series, and I definitely will be doing it again next year. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm debating whether to do a video for the Moto 2 and the Moto 3 results next year as well. I'll probably, if I do that, if you guys want that, I will do that in a video, one video for both of them, and then have MotoGP separately, or I might put it all in one video, but it will be a very long video. Tell me what you guys think. If you want me to do that, then feel free to let me know. And yeah, that's it, guys. I hate it when motorsport's over for the year, because now we've got the long, boring wait for the winter, and sad times ahead. I do hate when MotoGP finishes. Nothing to look forward to until next year. Yeah, thanks guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to rev the nuts off that like button, subscribe to my channel for more MotoGP and MotoGP 14 content, and I shall see you guys in the next video I do. Thanks guys, see you.